Hey, everybody. Welcome. It is Friday. It is Friday afternoon. It is 4:20-ish p.m. That means it's time. Dustin Kava, how the hell are you, by the way?
I'm doing awesome.
You're always doing awesome. You know why you're always doing awesome? Because it's Friday. It's 4:20 p.m.
Buddy.
That means it's time for another brand new episode of Because Cannabis on Wayward Media. I'm B.C. Wehman, wherever he is in the box. That is Dustin Kava. Live show today, everybody. Super, super excited. Haven't had a live show in just a little bit. Doing some pre-recorded shows, doing some interviews. Got some interviews coming up, but right now, today's episode, Hybrid and Heroes, is live. So if you happen to be out there right now, if you have subscribed, and if they haven't subscribed, Dustin, we may have to punch them. You noticed our thumbnail got a little punchy today, a little physical violence breaking out on the thumbnail. I see the inspiration, Dustin. May have an argument today. A little bit later in the show, your favorite kind of genetic, or does it even fucking matter? Hybrid, sativas, indicas, a little violent today. We got to get them, Dustin. We got to get them to subscribe. How do we get them? We got a few more. Thank you, by the way. We got about 10 subscriptions in the last week. We're getting there. Got to get some more, Dustin, and give them the goods.
You know, we begged and it didn't work.
No,
we screamed at him and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I think I even swore at him the other day, and we got two.
So violence is the answer.
So I think they like to subscribe out of fear as opposed to
subscribe. Look, whatever reason you need, whatever compels you to take your finger, whether it's on a mouse and scroll it down, or whether it's your thumb or your finger. Are you a thumb or finger presser on your phone, Dustin Kava? Like, how do you work your phone? Do you tend to use more thumbs and fingers, or do you hold hand? Like, what's your vibe?
It's one hand thumb.
One hand. Oh, so I'm very much a two-hander. I have small hands and terrible grip strength. It's an issue as I've aged. So both of those things are a combination, especially as cell phones got bigger. Like as a flip phone, I'll tell you what, right now, son, I don't know why I called you son. That was disrespectful, but I could T9 text like a mother trucker. Like, you know, the T9 text when you had to go 3 letters or sometimes 4 to get to a point.
Well. Oh yeah.
I was a T9 texting champion back in the day. That's all I'm saying. Like, I could do that shit legit for that. We're not talking T9 texting today, though. We're talking cannabis, as we do every Friday on Wayward Media, wayward.media. That is our website. Got some new content. Some of it we may talk about today. Got some new content. Anthony Trav, saw him the other day. He's been talking about doing a new show. Got some new things coming up. Dustin, I know you got some stuff in the works. We won't break the news yet, break the seal, as it were, but we'll get that out soon. So definitely check out wayward.media. We'll have some other YouTube channels for you to subscribe to. For today, it's this one. Or don't forget, these shows are all on audio. They're all on audio. Maybe you're listening on audio. Sometimes you don't get to see, for example, I think we're going to play a video today. You won't get to see that. You'll get to hear it. If you want to see it, subscribe on YouTube. If you want to hear it, that's where you go. iTunes, Google Play, all those other places. So check out the show socially at MeetWM. I don't know. We got some great stuff coming up, stuff they don't even know about, some stuff coming to Wayward Media. So I'm really excited about all those things. You feeling good, Dustin? How you feeling on this Friday as we head into the weekend? You got any plans? Let me ask you that.
Ooh,
I'm terrible at asking questions. You got any plans this weekend?
No. You know what? I'm addicted to work. I'm addicted to creating shit, you know? So I thought to myself, you really should rest this weekend. Like, you've been kind of tired, and at the end of the day, I was like, no, I'm going to fake build a couple of these websites for these companies I'm going after next week, which, little spoiler there in one of these shows. And you know, I just can't stop. We're on a roll. Really good things are happening. The conversations that are coming up with other peers of ours are just they've been inspiring me to keep going forward, and I'm not ready to put down the hammer.
I don't know when you're listening to this show. I'm not sure. Like this, if on audio, it's going to be a little bit later, but I'm working tomorrow. Tomorrow as in August 20th. This is live Friday, August 19th, 4:20 p.m. I am working Saturday, August 20th, Dustin. I'm doing a trade show. You know, we've been working with the Cleveland School of Cannabis. Great institution there. I am a director of business and marketing. I can't even get my title right. Director of marketing and communications. It's a fancy title they gave me, along with a business instructor. We've talked about the Dank Tank. Had multiple people from the school on the show. We got full representation today, got the shirt on, got the little cup in the background. So I'm working a trade show Dustin. I'm working a trade show. Part of the marketing and communications has been getting out there, right? Getting out there, seeing the people. I have done my fair share of trade shows. I've already actually done a couple for the school, but I'm kind of running this one all on my own, all my whole thing. And so we'll talk about that in a minute, but let me just get your vibe, first of all, on trade shows. You're in the glass business and the head shop business. You have to work these conventions of sorts. Do you like doing them? Do you like going to trade shows? Do you see a use in them? And just, is it a big picture purpose?
Everyone in my band family owns their own business. And so trade shows have been a part of our lives for 25 years, at least, and yes, as an employee, there's a different type of validation with them. It's usually like, this is definitely an easier day. I'm just going to kind of kick back and just do my thing there. And in a lot of these places, you're not even legally allowed to set up your own booth. You have to pay, the union to come in and set up the booth for you.
Oh, yeah, some of the New York shows and stuff like that, for sure. Or
So,
in the more unionized areas, the big boys.
So as an employee, it's one thing, but as the owner, as a
The
family
organizer.
who, yes, as someone who it really does matter, the logistics ahead of time are just so substantial. No one can comprehend exactly what it takes to box up an entire room essentially, and then get it there, which costs an enormous amount of money, and then to wheel everything in at 2 a.m. to set up. And then, you get back, you get the shower, and then you go to the show. And to me, yes, they're vital. They're vital to get the pulse on the industry you're in. It's vital to connect with new customers. It's vital to be able to tell the story and to be able to be there in person. Whereas in a lot of ways, maybe someone else would have been a sales associate of yours would have gone to that house to make the sale, or someone else. And it's this chance to really give them that window into the organization. So to me, it's everything. I think they're vital. Do I think they suck? Yeah. Do I think a lot of them are boring? Yes. Do I, I feel bad for you, sitting there at the booth, like, oh,
wait, did I tell you it's outside? We're outside tomorrow.
Even better. So,
Under a tent.
At the end of the day, I think they have their place, but very rarely do I see them operate in the manner that I would have thought or hoped that they would have. So as an event organizer, I can't even imagine what it takes to have 150 vendors and to put on a show like that. So I'm not even going to begin to, call them out yet.
It would be tough. It is tough. Well, tomorrow's a smaller one. Tomorrow is a little bit smaller one. I brought this up on screen here. We are with the Cleveland School of Cannabis. We're doing the Midwest Cannafest, which is run by Allie Reeves, who runs Midwest Canna Women. Great.
She's
great
awesome.
Woman. Yeah, she is awesome. Check her out. I should have her better socially. I'm sure she's all over the place. I think it's the Allie Reeves, ALLYREAVS. You can check her out on Facebook. Midwest Canna Women, that I do know. Midwest Canna Women is the organization that she runs. And so she is about bringing notification, bringing awareness to diversity, to inclusivity, to underrepresented segments in ownership, particularly based off gender, based off race, based off sexual orientation, all three of those, right? Trying to get more people involved. So we are doing not only a thing with the Cleveland School of Cannabis, the Midwest Cannafest, we're doing at Ridall Green Partnership, which is an urban outdoor garden that teaches young at trouble students, a lot of times young men and women, the ability to garden, the ability to work outside, especially in a downtown setting. There's this beautiful garden. It's got a great backstory. Soil Bros, SOILBROS.com. There's a documentary about the gentleman that run Ridall Green Partnership, Soil Bros, SOILBROS. So
and have you ever seen their facility? Like, have you ever?
I have not till tomorrow. I've heard about Ridall. I'm going there for the first time. I've seen Dr. Greenhands. He's been at several events. Check out Dr. Greenhands. You can just Google it. He is pretty cool. He taught us a compost to do at home. We had a demonstration at Hemp Day at the Cleveland School of Cannabis. So he taught us how to use wood chips, newspapers, and old fruit and vegetables from your fridge and make a cool compost, and a stacking method that he did. It was a whole thing that Dr. Greenhands did. So he is part of the partnership there at Ridall. I haven't been there yet. We'll be there tomorrow. We'll have the tent set up. We're there. There's a ton of both Gabriel Dion, MedicateOH.com will be there. Brian Adams, one of our future guests, he's doing a live podcast from there. Maybe we'll get there next year. So we got a lot of people that have been on our show will be there. So it's an outdoor trade show. That's what I wanted to get to your vibe, Dustin. Not only is it a trade show, We are outdoors in a day when it's about to rain. Have you had an event outdoors? And this is, by the way, how does this relate to cannabis? We talk about this. The business of cannabis is strictly a business. You're talking about the plant. You're talking about growing the plant. You're talking about consuming it and getting high. But at the end of the day, it's trade shows. It's marketing concepts. I actually just had this little vibe as I was thinking, Dustin, like this is a mug. If I turn it around, it's a nice little like picture and graphic, but I don't drink left-handed. So it's pointless. I need to, as I remember, as we brand mugs, always brand on this side. It's those little details you think about. You may not want to or say, I don't give a shit. It's just weed. These are the things that stand out and make a difference. You know what's going to be at Midwest CannaFest, Dustin? Other competitors of ours, other podcasts, other companies, all of them competing for the same dollar. How do you stand out in these things? So these business decisions matter. So we're doing that show. Shout out to Midwest Canna Women and the Cleveland School of Cannabis. I'm looking forward to that. Not looking forward to the potential rain, though. I'm being real. Like Saturday work, I don't mind like doing those things. I love trade shows. They're interesting. You can meet people. I've been to comic book conventions as a guest. I love those things. You get to go out and meet your, not so much your heroes, but some other people. Let me tell you, I don't know if you've ever had an opportunity to meet. I don't know if there are even heroes in the cannabis glass world. Maybe there are. I don't know. I met a hero once at a comic convention, and I have to tell you the story because it's terrible and embarrassing. So, do you watch American Ninja Warrior?
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right. So do you know who Jessie Graff is? If I say that name. All right. Jessie Graff is probably the best female competitor on American Ninja Warrior. She's a stunt woman in Hollywood. She was in like some Marvel and DC movies and stuff. She's a crazy buff lady who really sets it forward. And the beauty of American Ninja Warrior is that you can be, there has never been a Canna Ninja. I've been waiting. If I'm going on there, if I get buff, I'm the Canna Ninja, by the way. There hasn't been a cannabis-centric ninja yet. They all put whatever they do and then ninja after their name. So bearded ninja, food ninja, wing ninja, teacher ninja, whatever they do. Just basically toss an adjective and put ninja afterwards. Never been a Canna Ninja. Maybe there'll be one of those. Breaking the mold, people. So she is a superstar of the sport. Super buff lady, wears a very superhero-ish themed outfit. So I'm at the 2016 San Diego Comic-Con, my first and only time at the San Diego Comic-Con. The backstory to that takes too long, probably not cannabis-centric enough, but great story. We get there. I've never been to a convention this big. All the celebrities. It was the year Suicide Squad came out. Will Smith is like 2 feet in front of me, trouble he had now. Great experience. I'm not a person who seeks out celebrities. I'm uncomfortable with it. They're just human beings and such. So my dad, who's with me at the time, sees Jessie Graff come out of the bathroom. And so he is like, hey, don't you watch American Ninja Warrior? My dad's a photo taker. I just went to Cleveland Browns training camp. We got like 16 photos with people. I am not a photo taker. He's like, you should get a picture with her. I don't want to. I don't want to take a picture. Like she just pooped. She literally just came out. She is walking out of the restroom of the San Diego Comic-Con. And then my dad, within 12 feet of the door, grabbed me. And I'm, by the way, this is only a few years ago. I'm still an adult. Like he's 65. I'm 45. We're not children. Like I'm a 45-year-old man and he's 65. And he grabs me and pulls me over. And he's like, my son loves you. Like I'm 45 years old. He's like, my son loves you so much. Can he get your picture? And all I can picture is that this poor lady just dropped, like maybe she had a bad burrito. And in my brain, like she didn't say anything, but in my brain, I'm standing there and I wish I should have completed this story. Maybe we'll have to tweet it because I have the photo and there's this awkward spacing between us. And I feel like she's annoyed. And all I can think of is she had some great San Diego burrito and she's got massive runs. And she's like, oh my God, this dude's accosting me. This grown man and his grown son are accosting me, trying to get a picture. It was a lot. I am not a fan of meeting my heroes. By the way, my heroes, speaking of hybrid and heroes, I'm not a fan of meeting my heroes, going to those things. I like to go to conventions as a worker, as an employee, as a thing. It's a business, but as a guest, I am someone who goes and just kind of remains low key. So when you go to these trade shows, are there, like glass heroes? Are there people in the glass industry that are, we've had Gibby Dowdy from Illicit Glass and stuff on. I know it's an artistic world. You've educated me, but are there icons? Like, are there a Jack Herrera of glass blowing? Does that shit exist?
Oh my God. Yes. And
really? There's like a whole scene?
I mean, when you're making a pipe that sells for $215,000.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. All right.
Like and that's one of many that are made throughout the year. And yeah, I mean, in storage units, they're housing old glass that's worth more than fucking most people's entire mortgages over 30 years, you know? So it's, yes, there are heroes. And I was not this way up until, 6 years ago or something. I always was like, I was down to meet my heroes.
Okay.
Now I will always tell my son, do not meet your heroes.
Do not meet your heroes.
Do not meet them. Do not meet them. Do not meet them. And I say that because, gosh, I mean, as someone who, again, everything I do passionately. I really get into it.
No, I think we know that. I think we've realized that.
So glass is no different. And I remember 10 years of developing a water pipe and building up all these heroes in the glass industry of who and what I wanted to work with, how I wanted to be, what work I wanted to carry in my store. And I remember it took us 2 years to finally have enough money to be able to go to a trade show and make some of these connections that I always thought was, important. And I remember going to one of these trade shows. It's the first one. And we have almost no money. Instead of making a $10,000 order or something like that with these guys, which we did eventually start making, we were making like $200 orders, $300 orders, where these guys were like, I don't make a $300 order. And I'm like, listen, dude, if we do $300 today, it means that in 6 months, I'm going to do 800. In 14 months, I'm going to do $3,000. And in 10 years, we're going to be doing 25 or 40 or however much a year with you. So build with me, man. Either way, I walk into this huge convention center and there are just 200 artists lined up there. And I look over and I see one of my heroes, one of my guys who didn't necessarily even blow pipes. He blew many, many things. And I had been following this guy for 5-6 years. His artwork was just, it was me.
Wait, you're following his artwork? I mean,
for years. And I'm not just saying following, I'm saying every day I am looking and going to his page.
Into this dude.
I really was. This guy really was. If there was a top 7 people in the entire industry that I genuinely wanted to meet, this guy was in it, and here's my chance, here is the chance just to give him a fucking hug and say,
hold on. You wanted to hug him? I feel that's a little much.
You know what? The glass industry is very personal and very private. It's not like Will Smith. I'm saying there's only X amount of guys in the industry that show up to these things. They're at every single show. And yeah, I mean, hell, I'll fucking clean out their car for them if they let me, All right. So in any case, I'm going and I see this dude and I'm like, this is the chance, I'm going to express myself to this guy. So I go to walk up to him and he is literally staring me in the eyes as I am walking up. We're now 30 feet. We're now 20 feet from each other.
Okay.
We're now 10 feet from each other.
And so you're looking at each other in which as you approach someone, he knows you're coming.
He knows I am coming. I get to 4 feet from this guy.
Okay.
I'm holding out my arm to shake his hand. And this guy looks me dead in the eyes and just turns and walks to a different part of his booth. So now I'm like, maybe he didn't see me. Maybe he was looking past my shoulder and all my waves and his contact wasn't for me. It was just some, So I go, I'm going to, I walk up to him and I go to start talking to him again. I'm right next to him. He's fiddling with all his shit on his table. He's not doing anything. And I'm like, hey man, I've been waiting so long to meet you. And he turns and walks to the opposite side of the booth. And it's he shunned me twice in a row. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Fuck this guy. My hero literally just shit in my mouth and just in front of 180,000 people. And this is it. This is what it's come down to. We waited so long and saved up so much money to be there and to make these connections. And literally the one I wanted to make the most that was there. Shit in my mouth.
Just walked away from you. So twice. You think purposely, do you right now?
100%.
How long ago was this? Just in reference, how long ago time frame was this?
5 years ago. 5 years ago.
All right, so we're talking 2017, so we're pre-COVID. You think twice, like in your gut right now, and I hear your story, but you still feel in your gut right now that twice this guy looked at you, made a decision based off whatever reasoning, and avoided you. Like, was he that way to other people? Do you feel
No, because you know what?
So he was like gracious. So it wasn't like he was like a known curmudgeon, or so to speak, in the industry.
You look at me and you know that I'm not about to drop $300,000. You look at some other people walking through these conventions, and you know, for us, we're making orders a year, 6 months, a year, 3 years out from that date with some of these artists. And, you know, some of these guys walk in with 300 or $500,000 and buy their glass for the entire year in 2 days and then stockpile, you know, so it's a different scenario. And I think when he sees me, you know, like I look homeless. I look, you know, like what they don't understand is eventually I will do more fucking business than anybody else with them. And eventually I do every damn thing I say I'm going to do because I'm so fucking OCD and anal about everything. And so, you know, like it's one of those things, but no, I look like I'm homeless. He was probably like, I don't even want to shake this guy's hand. He probably just came out from the bathroom. But no, I think and to me, it also led into one of the most profound and positively affecting scenarios, not 14 steps away from that moment instantly.
Okay.
So, you know, for me at this point, I hate heroes. You know, I'm like, this was my hero. He is the biggest asshole in the world. I'm walking away from this right now. And I literally leave his booth and I'm walking down the aisle and, you know, like I was ready to walk out and smoke a fat hog leg. And like, you know,
hold on a second. Hold on, I got to time out. What the fuck is a hog leg?
That is a big boy. I
have never heard that term before in my entire life. Well, if you have heard hog leg, all right, I just need to know if you're watching this video, if you followed us at Meet WM, if you have heard the term hog leg for a giant fatty, right? Just a big old movie style fatty. If you've heard that term hog leg, you need to tell us in the comments below. In fact, anyone that says that, we're going to talk about you on the next show. So if you've heard the term hog leg, I need you to comment. We got to get some traction here. So talk about hog legs or whatever term. What do you call the world's biggest blunt? Tell us in the comments below, and we'll talk about you on the next show. All right. So you wanted to go outside. So you wanted to just light a giant fatty.
This is first day, first hour. I'm done. I'm like, dude, there's plenty for me to do in Vegas. I don't need this shit.
Sure,
like,
of course. Yeah.
You know, so I walk 7 booths down and I look over and there sitting on the small corner of another person's booth is another one of my heroes' artwork. And this guy just made little pendants. He made little, not even pipes, just burger related things in glass. And
hamburger related things?
Yes, hamburger related things. And I stopped dead in my tracks. I looked over and I was like, where is he? Like to the guy behind the booth. And the guy was like, you know, like he shouldn't be here. He's not on the bill. Like this is not like it. He wasn't supposed to be here, you know? Sure. And he's like, actually, he's right over there. And I look over and him talking to this other guy, like he looks back at me. He immediately makes connection. He doesn't know who the hell I am. He comes over to the booth and man, I swear, dude, and this has only happened 2 or 3 times in my life in the industry and my life in general, within fucking 13 seconds of seeing and being near each other, both of us are bawling and just like,
you're so emotional. You're so emotional.
Some of the work that actually this guy's name is Ryan Rosberg. This is one of his.
Let's give him a shout out. All right. So what is this right here?
This is a chicken sandwich rig that he has done. He's now also making pipes. Let's see if I can get this to get in focus. But this is a chicken sandwich. You got the pickles underneath it.
It's like a Chick-fil-A, like a, what name brand? It's like a Southern style chicken sandwich. I know I'm keeping the screen on Dustin here. Southern style chicken sandwich. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you got to follow us. You got to check out the video. If you're listening to this on audio, you got to make sure you check out the video on the Because Cannabis Network on Wayward Media. Hold on, put that back up. I'm going to talk about this.
So this is one that he specially
serves no purpose. Does it have
this one he specially made for me in an actual pipe. So I can actually put my banger on here and then use it for oil for my medicine legitimately.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, let's see if I get one more time in focus. There he is. Chicken sandwich.
Does the smoke like roll through like the chicken sandwich? Does it kind of come through there at any point?
The bottom and goes up and around it. And
that's
so
awesome.
the chicken sandwich actually acts as a splash guard almost. So as you're bubbling all your shit, the smoke or the water's hitting that chicken sandwich and actually breaking up. It's not able to the most part to get past it. So
well, all right, so let's give that shout out. What's that guy's name again? I know we're big on designers and glass artists. What's his name?
His name is Ryan Rosberg, and he goes by Rosberg Glass on Instagram if you ever have a chance to check him out.
Rosberg Glass. Shout out to Rosberg Glass on Instagram. That's hilarious, Dustin. Also, I feel so bad. You got
one of the nicest, most amazing individuals I've ever met in the industry. And to me, that happened not 4 minutes after being just devastated from 6 years of following someone else. So there is this, that's what a trade show is to me. It's that opportunity to where you just don't know. It's a grab bag of people's emotions.
Or meet your heroes.
Yes. So, at the end of the day, I'm telling Oliver, just stay the hell away.
Stay away. Well, what was that? Rosberg art at Instagram?
Rosberg Glass. Rosberg Glass.
Shout out to Rosberg Glass on Instagram. Hey, I know that you are working on, you did something. We're going to show a video here in a second. You sent me this video. You asked me to check it out. I watched it. Of course, I love it. I love Gibby from Licit Glass, LICIT, licitglass.com. So I love Gibby Dowdy from Licit Glass. That's a lot of G's and L sounds in there. And so you sent me this thing. So I'm going to play this video in a minute, but tell me, what is this that you sent me? Like, if we're talking glass and we're talking kind of projects, what's this thing that you and Gibby are kind of working? Gibby Dowdy, by the way, Licit Glass. We've had I don't know. I should know. Episode like 6 or 7. He was on Because Cannabis. Great hour. Great conversation, learning about the industry. It's really where you convinced me that they're artists. It was that episode that I really, even though we've known each other for a decade, that I feel like you conveyed the message that these are artistes. But now they're also assholes. We learned that. Artists and assholes. That should have been the name of the show. Hybrids and heroes, though, is what it is. We're going to talk strains and cultivars after this. But tell us about this video, and then let's check this out.
You know what? Actually, a lot of what we talk about, and me and you, and then just elsewhere, everything I do, again, it's all about that passion. And so, Licit and Gibby himself is on the road, 20 weeks a year, and is visiting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shops every single year. And so there's a lot of different types of shop owners and a lot of different types of employees. And what we were kind of working on, and again, what we're seeing here is a 2-hour from conception into prototype of something that we're kind of working on in order to bring out some of that passion with some of these people that we work with. And so something we're about to watch is essentially Gibby pulling up to the shop ahead of time, and then eventually talking to the shop owner and hearing what kind of drives him a little bit. And so hopefully this will be a newer format that we're going to put out in some regards with him, that he's going to put out. And hopefully he can kind of give you that inside glimpse of, 1, how different shop owners think, 2, what kind of gets them through the grind, and 3, maybe some other funny scenarios that you never even thought about happening in the game. So yeah, that's this Licit live from Austin, Texas with Gibby.
Let's check this out.
Cosmic Cowboy Smoke Shop.
I like the mute.
It's a little long on that intro because we were, going live, so I had to kind of count for the getting ready.
Here you go. Let's just watch it. We'll watch it together. Let me take off the overlay here on the show. There we go. Did go a little long on the intro music here.
Yeah, it did.
We should watch more shit and talk about it on Because Cannabis. That's what I'm realizing.
We were setting up cameras.
What's up, guys? So I just drove through the night. I was in Atlanta yesterday. I heard about this awesome shop in Austin, Texas from one of their customers a couple weeks ago.
Oh, damn.
And I just had to come see it. First episode, new podcast. I'm going to start recording, my adventures. And, hopefully I can come in here and start asking some questions of the shop owners. So make this thing a more personable experience. Y'all get to see what I get to see, and you get to learn and experience all the personalities and great culture that surrounds the glass industry. And sometimes you just got to get in the car and drive. Here's day 1. Should be fun.
You tell us, Gibby. Love it.
Everybody say hello to Chris, my new friend.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
We're going to do a little tour around the shop, and then he's agreed to answer a few questions
Oh, look at some
about some of the passions and great
And all the
positive
lids on the
things
table right
for the
there.
glass
yeah.
industry.
These
and
guys
what
were
he
so
loves about being
amazing.
a shop owner.
It's got a very Hailables feel. I'll be honest with you.
It's a mom and two son setup.
Oh, let's give a shout out. Who are these guys?
So this is Cosmic Cowboy Smoke Shop in I believe it was Houston. Houston or Austin. And yeah,
Yes, everybody say hello to my friend Chris. Part 2 of the episode. Just showed up, met him today. Called yesterday actually, and was like, "Hey, I think I'll be in town tomorrow."
So educated. So glad you came.
Yeah.
Such good class, too.
Yeah.
It's good to find affordable American-made stuff. Probably one of the hardest things to find. And we don't want to just be, we want to make sure we can give products for everyone, for every economic status.
And that's what we're here for. Like products at every price point, and to really support the people who are looking for glass. And so let me ask you, when did you decide to open up the shop?
Well, about 16 or 17, me and my brother talked about opening up.
So it looks like we'll turn this down for just a second. We'll have this coming out here soon. We're gonna watch a lot of this video and keep commenting on it. But so you're kind of putting together this thing where Gibby is gonna head out, talk to these smoke shops, get to know. Because I'm already loving the vibe right now. Like he's heading out, he's getting to know. Gibby's got enough of a personality. He looks a little nervous here, but he's got enough of a personality too that really brings it out. And his glass is great. Like his glass is amazing. His glass is American made. So is that kind of the goal? Just taking illicit live?
Yeah,
as far as providing
a lot of that, yeah, and really, there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more dialing in of very, very specific topics. Gibby is very good at walking into a store and seeing what's very special about it, and to differentiate between someone who prides themselves into what they stock and maybe someone who prides themselves into how they talk about what they stock. It all varies, shop to shop, and that he just has that ability to say, listen, I noticed this, what's your why in this? And I think, this was a little bit, lengthy in terms of, there was a little bit more intro to the shops, but eventually, yes, it's going to be, here's this question about what I noticed and why are you doing it this way?
All right, let's check and see what they're talking about.
Phone call that I wanted to come here and check out, and then looking at reviews. I read an article, like about your family. It's a family-owned business, right?
Yep, got mom in the back right now. She's working on bookkeeping and stuff, keeping everything on track. And me and my brother own this together. He managed a bunch of smoke shops, or managed a smoke shop in town for a long time. Between the two of us, we worked about 5 or 6 smoke shops, and kind of saw what was lacking and how we could maybe do it just slightly different. Not even anything crazy, just good customer service, good product knowledge was really missing. And making sure we weren't selling products to people that they weren't looking for.
Gotcha. So who's your favorite artist? Like, if you had all the money right now, what would you go buy?
Right now it'd be an old Mike Evans piece. He has
Do you know who Mike Evans is, Dustin?
Probably about
I sure do. I sure do.
Percolators, types of things within the industry that are being used now. And he made such big strides in the industry. Also, he's from Austin, so I got to go with his pieces when I was not able to afford them. And, take the guy behind the counter, pull him off the shelf about once a week just so I could look at them. Never got to buy one. If there's any out there, I'm down to grab one.
Mike Evans has got a spot for me because that's one of my most influential glass artists. Like, you can see it in a lot of our scientific stuff, like kind of the styles and influences. And so I really respect that answer. It's pretty. What's your favorite memory so far that you've created here in the shop?
Oh man,
I like that.
Our parties. Our first year didn't have a whole lot of money for marketing, so we did a weekly party every single Wednesday. We provided 150 free beers for whoever showed up, and Had a
Some
lot of really good
grassroots.
memories with that. They had people come in that just moved here. They made all their
They had
friends
such an
through our party.
inhalables vibe. Like the
They really
reasons
do.
why, the attention to customer service, the way they appreciated not making the sale that moment, the way, even the reasons of why they're working with someone wasn't because the object was always selling. It was because that person was the right person to work with. Their families, the whole story and all of it is like, it really matters. And these guys really resonated with me. They reminded me of Joe and I, so many years ago when we first started ourselves. And these guys are actually on, they're on just as many years, I think, that that what we had, but they're kicking ass.
That's exciting. It's exciting to see. I like kind of what Gibby has going on. Obviously, it's content. So is this something listed live? Is this something you think you're going to continue to produce?
You know what? I don't know how it's going to work. We're trying a couple different formats to see what works best with these shop owners. Sometimes, that live situation can kind of get them nervous. And, it's also that idea of, that organicness. We do a lot of stuff here organically where you don't send me things ahead of time, and we really do run off the cusp. And I think sometimes there's a different in dynamic when you're doing that with another person. And so to be able to give them 2 questions ahead of time, or to be able to give them no questions ahead of time and surprise them with it, each gets a different reaction and each gets a different type of response around people. So I think there's value in it in a lot of different ways. And as this starts to get developed a little bit more, I think that value is kind of going to shine through, and hopefully it is happening more and more often.
Yeah, I think it's working there. I think it's working there as a whole. I'm excited to see where that's going to go. We just showed you a portion of it, heard a little bit of it, kind of a sneak peek to something that I think we're hopefully going to roll out here on Wayward.media at some point. But if not, be sure to check out Gibby Dowdy on a past episode of Because Cannabis, number 5 or 6, though, on From Licit Glass. Obviously,
Buds and Boro, it's called.
Buds and Boro is the name of that episode. Obviously, Gibby Dowdy, shout out to that. Once again, both of you kind of helping me learn about this industry, learn about glass. It's things I didn't know. And in fact, there was a time, let me rephrase this. There was a time probably not that long ago. I mean not that long ago. And I feel like COVID, that's a weird, 2 years that seems to be blipped out, like Thanos snapped out of existence. So not that long ago, being about 7-8 years ago, where when I had cannabis, marijuana, weed, pot. Back then, I was indifferent to the term. I called it probably weed, which now I never say. I find it to be this weird term. But back then, it was almost, that's what I called it. And so I go to purchase some weed from you, and I just got what I got. I was like a child. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Like, that's what it was, whether it was brown frown, whether it was the magical kind. I just had it. I didn't even know. And I think it's funny now that I am very particular, as I think a lot of medicinal patients are, as I think we learn more about the industry. But you remind yourself, or you have to remind yourself sometimes in this industry, that the majority of people statistically, I don't have the number in front of me. I'm a big stats guy, but it's somewhere in there. But the vast majority, it's plus 80% of people that consume cannabis just consume it. They don't understand the strains, the cultivars, the genetics. They don't give a shit even about any of those things. And so I was scrolling through the news recently, in cannabis news, looking for something for the show. By the way, we do prepare a little bit. Don't throw me under the bus that much. Jeez Louise. And I found an article from NJ.com, New Jersey.
No, you prepare. I don't.
There you go.
You surprised me.
So I found an article on NJ.com. I'm not going to share it because it's behind that paywall. I was about to share it, and I just realized it's paywalled. And I was able to do that thing where I was able to read it unpaywalled. Not going to tell you how, but I can't show it there. So it's a paywalled article, so I can't bring it up on screen. So NJ.com had an article because New Jersey's beginning adult use sales. And so as when every state goes adult use, they basically have your How to Smoke Weed 101 guide. And so it was this big, long article about hybrids versus sativas and indicas, because it's all more, I guess, more medicinally thought of in the medicinal states. You have to meet with a recommending physician, and they kind of talk to you about it. Hopefully, someone like Dr. Bridget Williams or other people have really good conversations with you. But if you're an adult use patient, or if you're an adult use consumer, and you're someone who probably hasn't tried it in a while, and now you're rolling in, and now there's all this cannabis up in there, and there's all these things, and you always got what you got and just didn't complain, or you just picked it up. You got whatever the dude had. I'm not going to genderize it, but let's be honest, it's mostly a dude who rolls up in the car, you roll up into his place, and he's got a baggie, and you take it and you walk away. It's 2022 though, brother. We are not that way anymore. We are so particular. Are you, Dustin? Let me ask you this just in general. I know you're a medicinal patient, and I know we've talked a lot about terpenes and profiles, but let's take off. We always hear, Dustin, the medicinal side. Let's take off that hat for a second. Let's just say sometimes you just like to get high. Do you care? Like, let me rephrase this. Do you have a sativa in the morning to get me going, or an indica in the night? Does that thing matter intensely to you, or is it more about said terpene profiles and such? Or do you really day part your cannabis consumption?
Because I've been so blessed with the medical card, yeah, I get to have that type of choice. And so I think it's important about knowing your medicine on when you use and why you use and what's the point of it and stuff like that. And so
what's the point?
I think, yes, I do. And I do use particular things at certain moments, but at the end of the day, I know better. I know if one is out, I don't give a fuck. I am getting the other thing. I'm smoking it, you know? So to me, wellness is wellness. I wish I could say, oh, this strain, it keeps me so active in the morning. And it's like, you know what? Great. But when I go to buy it again, it's fucking gone. So, you know, like every time I build up a routine with a certain style or certain thing, you're not always, it takes a lot of effort to maintain that. To maintain getting that, to maintain, you know, so no, I really wish there was more choice in that, but had I have everything I want to have, yes, I would make that distinction and I would try at least.
So here's what I want to know. What is your opinion then on the H word? I think of it as the H word because I feel like in this industry, now, I'm not smart enough. I'm not even going to claim to be. We got Sam Branca's coming up from Riviera Creek Farms soon. I'm excited for that episode. Maybe we'll ask him, like really have someone break it down. Some other cultivators we've had on the show. We've had obviously Smart Scientist, Kathy Reeder, Hamant Bid, some people who understand this plant. So I get as a whole that sativa, you know, and I understand the cultivation of it. And so as a general, if you're not familiar, maybe you need to read that NJ.com article. Sativa as a whole is an upper, right? It's a daytime. Shout out Tropicana. That's a great daytime strain, by the way. That is one of those, hey, I consume it real quick. You know, I take a hit off, let me just be real here. I take a hit off the bowl to mow the lawn. And then the next thing I know, I've mowed the lawn and weed whacked the side and probably painted the house. Like I just get shit done. That's what I call Tropicana. I call it my get shit done strain. But I only have it when the dude has it, right? So it's not always prevalent. I'm totally. So now, you know, I understand sativa. And then indica tends to be the indica, which tends to be the body high, however you say it. But we have this word, which has really only come into prominence over the last, say, 4 or 5 years, really publicly. I know it's been talked about, but it's a marketing term, right? And here's what I want to get to. So we'll talk business, we'll talk cannabis, because THC very much relies on marketing itself as sativa indica or the H word hybrid, which means it's something in between. But most of those either lean closer to sativa or either lean closer to indica. So it's one or the other. Why not call it that? But it's just it's a marketing term. And we know that CBD, we know that Delta 8, every other cannabinoid thus far, which has been exploited from this plant, is sold marketing wise as a feeling. Feel relaxed, feel excited, feel happy, feel sleepy time. Like even the pet versions of CBD, they're not sold off. And somewhere on that label, it will tell you what the cultivar is. It may tell you genetics, but it is all about a smiley face or a nighttime face with Z's out of it. Like that's how they sell CBD. But in THC, we sell it as green crack from the genetic. It's a multi-tiered question here. But first, let me ask you, the hybrid word, the H word, I feel it to be silly. I feel it to be, I understand in genetically, and maybe I'm missing some of it. Maybe a cultivator could tell me more, but it feels simply as a marketing angle because it's always leaning one way or the other. So you might as well make it that. Like, do you know the history of hybrid? Like, where do you sit on this? Like hybrid word?
To me, it's one, it sounds dirty.
Yeah, right.
I feel like Yeah, I don't even want to say what I felt like I was going to have to do there. So, but what I really do want to say is when I think of hybrids in the industry, or even as a patient or someone who's smoking it or whatever, there's a couple different levels to it. There are
Okay.
the genetic hybrids that induce better operational effects, meaning shorter, flowering times, or more resilient, or whatever.
On a cultivation level. So you're talking, and I think that's what happened. If I'm being real here, I think what happened is it was initially a cultivation growing concept and has then shifted into a marketing concept, right? I feel like if I stole your thunder or spoiler, I feel like that's where you're going. Sorry.
Well, you're right. That is where I was going. The secondary effect of that too is you got to look at effects as a parabola of sorts, whereas like there are certain things that are going to kick up at certain times. It's a wave. It comes as, in certain ways. And so the hybrids allow a much more catered wave panel, and it could mean something hitting you hard at first and then easing you into something else. And there is a genetic purpose for having an effect like that with patients or with something even recreational. It's that idea of, when do I want this to peak? When is the come down? Exactly what do those feel like and why? And then, go on from there. And so, I hate how it makes me feel. I hate the bastardization of it all with it. But I do see both ends of it, even though 90% of consumers aren't even looking at either of those two things.
No, they're not. And I feel like at some point it's going to be, right? At some point, cannabis is simply THC as it becomes more adult use, as it moves into, much like CBD is now currently available in your grocery store, right? Delta 8, Delta 10, stuff that Alex Huska from Plant Puff and talked to us about, the HHCs and THCOs, those are still mostly available in smoke shops or in direct from the vendor. You can go online. You can go right now and buy something from plantpuff.com, get something from Alex Huska sent to you right now. Chagrin Valley Hemp Company, another company I know and support. You can get something from them right now. You can buy it. They have shipped Delta 8, Delta 10 to your house within probably 72 hours or some shit like that. But typically, those other cannabinoids outside of CBD are still contained in the offbeat universe of the smoke shops and such. But CBD is readily available, right? So right now, CBD is in Target, it's in PetSmart, would pick your grocery store chain of choice. Walmart, it's everywhere. At some point, THC will be in some form. Like, I think we know that. At some point, Delta 8, it's going to be weird when Delta 8, Delta 10 is available in Walmart and shit. Like right now, but it will be. And so I think, and we talked about this before, but as we kind of wrap up our show today, thank you, by the way, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show. Got about 10 minutes left. Our live show here for every Friday, 420 on Wayward.media's channel at MeetWM socially, a live brand new episode of Because Cannabis. So as we wrap up today's show, I feel like at some point cannabis has to adapt. Like even multiple people I know, if adult use, they just want to feel a certain way. They want to feel, even if they don't know the words, they want to feel more awake high or sleepy high, right? That tends to be what someone I know regularly who consumes. And this is a person, by the way, who's very smart, very well educated, right? I won't even say his career, but it needs another level of education on top of college to get this job, right? Still calls it awake high, sleepy high. I'm like, what they're called. But he's like, it's just, I don't know, sativa indica, they're all these weird words to me. I want an awake high and I want a sleepy high. And much like CBD has found itself to market it as awake high, sleepy high, energy high, pets, as well. THC needs to get there. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I think the hybrid term is just something that's fake to me. It's not fake. It's real. Like, it's totally real, but it's on a genetic level. But they have now used it to do this. But what's funny? Here's, I guess, another point. What's really funny is when you get into the hardcore consumers, which make up a teeny tiny amount of legal buyers, by the way. I know you guys are the loud, vocal minority. Welcome to the internet, hashtag. They get fucking really protective of this. Oh, yeah. They don't. Every time I talk to a really hard, and maybe you've had this. Have you ever had this experience, Dustin, where you've talked to a really, really hardcore consumer? Like,
how about any nerd any nerd is going to get and put it in a folder and categorize it. He's going to be like, oh, this is my A movies. And I alphabetical my movie collection by this. And then I also deeper cataloged it with biggest ass. And
you hear that, stoners? You're just a bunch of cannabis nerds. That's what I'm just learning right now. Like,
why not?
The super hardcore stoner who gets in your face, who's all like, bro, this is from, and tells you the entire lineage. Like, this is a cross of this, which
no,
I guess
feel like an ass saying that. You know what the truth is these
like, those are my people and I'm making fun of them.
No, it's that the cultivators put so much energy and effort and passion into their plant that those types of consumers actually see every bit of work, every bit of love in it. They are reading those terpene levels. They are reading about the genetics. They're understanding that origin and the why. And they're also in their mind knowing that it took this person how many times of, transplanting this, and how many different steps and effort it really took to come out with that type of quality of something. And so I feel like a dick for saying that, but you are a fucking nerd when you put it in a box like it.
It's a tough thing, but that is, I mean, what you're describing is basically business 101. Your hardcore, most brand equity type of consumers who have complete ownership in you make up a teeny tiny portion of sales. And it's who you're trying to please, but the reality is the majority of customers don't give a shit. I mean, that sounds bad to say, but they don't.
Tells the majority of customers where to go. Guess who? Okay, they're going over the house and sitting around that person's table. And when that person brings out X thing and they say, oh, wow, what a nice experience. They're like, okay, well, now you go to this guy and you get this shit and you get this device. And they're the social mavens. They're the ones who get your brand to the tipping point, to that point where you're not forcing the word of mouth marketing and you're not having to spend that type of capital to get the same exposure. They do it for you.
They do it for you. I hope we did it for you today. Did we do it for you? Did we do it for you? If we did do it for you, subscribe. That's what we're looking for. If we didn't do it for you, subscribe because you hate us. Yeah, I don't know what it is. All right, subscribe. Follow us if you're listening to us on audio-wise, whether it's Google Play, iTunes, podcasts, all those other places, Spotify and such. If you're following us on there, Because Cannabis, brand new show every week, every Monday at 4:20 p.m. audio. Video, if you want to see this, you want to watch the video like we showed with Gibby. If you listen on audio and you want to see Gibby Dowdy, if you want to check out Buds and Boro, but you want to see today's little sneak peek at Licit Live, which you totally have to get going, Dustin. You got to tell Gibby he's now a star. He's been on the world's most 19th, by the way. Thank you, feedspot.com. I don't know where you made this up. 19th most popular cannabis podcast, according to feedspot.com. We should put that shit somewhere. I don't know what that means. There was 100 on the list. There was not 19 cannabis-centric podcast on there, by the way. There was 100 cannabis podcasts. We were 19th. I think they made it up to get us to subscribe to them. We're not going to take it, but we're going to take your ranking. 19th most popular cannabis podcast, according to feedspot.com. You're welcome. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Wayward.media, all that stuff. Yeah, got to tell Gibby, got to get Licit Live going. Tell him it's a thing. Watching that, just seeing him in his car and then watching him transition and knowing that you whip that up in just a little bit. I think with more time. And by the way, if you want to see more of Gibby Dowdy, leave us a comment below. Tell us in a comment, follow us on Meet WM, blast us on social media and say, give me Gibby. Hashtag give me Gibby. Giveme, Gibbbie. Make that shit go viral. Give me Gibby. We want Licit Live on there. So if you want to see more Licit Live, let us know in the comments below after you've subscribed. So I think it was good, though. It was good, and I'm excited to check it out very soon. I hope we get to see more of that. Dustin, we're going to be at Midwest. I am Midwest CannaFest. If you're listening to this live on Friday, August 19th, I'll be there. If not, check out Midwest Canna Women socially. They have lots of great events going on here. Check out the Cleveland School of Cannabis if you're looking to get a new career in the industry online or get your butt in the seat in Cleveland, Ohio, where we are at, Dustin and I, in Northeast Ohio. Wayward.media, wherever you are on the internet. Dustin, have a wonderful weekend. As always, I look forward to next Friday's show. Every Friday, 4:20 p.m. is a brand new episode of Because Cannabis. Dustin, that's it, man. Let's turn a little music on. Let's get this sucker going here.
And remember, everybody, don't meet your hero.
Don't meet your hero. Indeed, everyone. Don't meet your hero. Unless they're us. I think you could meet us. I think if
Yeah,
at some point,
I'll
it's
hug ya.
someone, somewhere, it's someday, Dustin, we are going to be someone's hero. I feel it in my soul and everything that I have. We are going to be someone's hero. I'm not going to hug you. Just GTFO, not my thing. I have space. I have OCD. I got germaphobe issues. Dustin is all up in it. You want to hug that man, get a hold of that bearded, homeless looking guy right there. That's fine with me. I'll give you a fist bump. I'm like Howie Mandel. I'll give you a little fist bump there. It's someday you are going to want to meet us. I'll be your hero. Dustin's your hero. You're my hero, Dustin. I just want to say that right now. You guys are our heroes for listening to the show. Thank you for joining us. Another episode next Friday, 4:20 p.m. Till then, I don't know. Smoke them if you got them, everyone.